You found the skeleton. How would you tell it's a dinosaur? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I'd have to do some research on that.
Sorry, I'm just.
Oh, hey,
Are
everybody.
we? Okay, good.
Yeah, apparently. Chesh. Chesh. Well,
Yeah, Chesh
welcome
is a
everybody.
professional.
Oh, okay.
They can't
Got
hear.
it.
We can't. You guys can't hear Chesh. I guess Chesh is here. She's
Okay.
producing. So welcome to a show that is not really Dapper React, has the same crew and is in the same time slot, and that's React. Oh, I don't know if I'm even coming in clearly, but Dapper Reacts is sort of a show where, we look at stupid stuff and we talk about it, and also we get distracted by chat sending us in super chats and everything. But today I have files that I use for that. I don't have a video, I have my OBS, because I don't have my computer in the shop. So Chesh has graciously agreed to produce the show. We've got Kip and Vishanti here as usual, and so instead of going through stuff, we're going to go through some smarts. We're going to take a look at a book that Kip Davis alleges that he.
I have a copy. It's like right here. See, there it is.
Yeah.
Right.
I volunteer to read the super chats, and we already
you.
have
Nice.
one. It is from Tree Climb Tad for 2, and this is different, and I don't like it.
No,
I'm
sorry.
just thinking. You throw you know, with a whole bunch of neurodivergent people in the chat. I'm like, this is going to go very well.
This is the best
Goes
we
as
can
well
do.
as it always does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chesh already has all the assets. Chesh runs and produces for Dapper on a fairly, I would say, semi-regular basis. So it made sense.
She produces my Star Trek show.
Yeah, so it made sense. And yeah, it's we're making do. We're doing the best we can. Yeah, Dapper's audio is a little bit choppy, but I think that's
Sorry.
because he's having to literally calling into Discord via his phone. So we're just gonna have to deal with that today.
Oh.
It's not ideal circumstances.
Far from it.
Yeah.
So, where do you guys want to go from here?
Well, you said that you wanted to read from your chapter about was it
Apocalypticism?
Apocalypticism? Yeah.
Yeah, because apocalypticism is cool.
Well, I mean,
and you know what else?
Copy of your book.
What's that?
I was gonna say, I can go get my physical copy of your book.
Oh, yeah, that's an awesome idea.
I also could find a way to perhaps help us display the text of your book, because you did send a digital edition to some of us.
There is that. That's
So
true.
chat, if you're the kind that want to see what is being read rather than just be read to, let me know in the chat, because we can make that happen.
And now I'm wondering if that's because the other thing I could do, I was going to read from the physical copy, but the other thing I could do is read from the ebook.
Ooh. Okay.
Now,
well,
where
you
is my?
make a decision on that? Metageeky Platypus
I lost
Librarian
my
for 5
iPad though.
sent in a super chat and writes, I will give Kip credit for all the work to translate dog into scholarese. The original manuscript had copious random squirrels throughout, and then a trans flag emoji. And then Tree Climb Tad in the chat asks, or says, ask Kip to define apocalypticism before you go get your book.
Ooh,
Oh.
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my favorite definition of apocalypticism is actually on page 434 for those who do have a copy of the book. And I mean, I could do I just do, because I mean it's part of the reading. Do you want me to provide the definition now, or should
I think that would be good.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
And my favorite definition of apocalypticism is by scholar Lorenzo di Tomoso, who I think is still at McGill in Montreal. I know he used to be at McGill, but this is what he says about. And I one of the reasons I wrote this chapter is because it's precisely because apocalypticism is widely misunderstood. People think they know what it is, but they don't really know what it is.
Apology put out a
So
video with John J. Collins on this.
yeah,
last week.
just this
Very
last,
good.
and I was very happy to hear John Collins when asked about what apocalypticism is. Do you know who he cited? Lorenzo di
Was it
Tomoso.
Dagan?
No.
Noted expert
He's
on apocalypticism.
not.
Your dog.
Yeah. The apocalypticism of trees. Yes.
Yes.
So,
Saw a
according
great tree before me, descending from the clouds in glory.
Behold, stick.
yeah,
Sorry.
according
we
to
should-
Lorenzo di Tomoso. Yeah, you want me to do the thing or not? Or
Yeah, go
am I
for it.
doing the thing? Okay. According to Lorenzo di Tomoso, apocalypticism asserts that a transcendent reality, concealed from casual observation, yet operative on a grand scale, defines and informs existence beyond human understanding and in the normal pale of world experience. It reveals a cosmos that is structured by two forces, good and evil, which have been in conflict since the dawn of history. It discloses a necessity and imminence of the final resolution of the conflict at the end of time and the truth about human destiny. So
Okay.
that's apocalypticism.
Shit's about to end, yo. That's apocalypticism.
Well, yes, and that's
Good
sort
guys
of
get rewarded, bad guys get their ass kicked. The end.
There's more to it though, because it's also the understanding of the cosmos, the entire universe, and everything in it, as divided between these forces of good and evil. Everything. It's got this very very sharp dichotomy between these two things, and the other thing about apocalypticism that people neglect to spend much time thinking about, which is really important, is apocalypticism always is trying to ground itself in it's very, in many respects, apocalypticism is almost like an early form of history, of historiography, before people started writing historiography as like a discipline, right? So it's very historically concerned. So
It's like a forward-facing historiography.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I've also heard it described as the mother of all theodicies. So, in the sense that it's also, yeah, it is, right? It stems from this sense that things are terrible and we don't understand why. But the resolution of that is that that God's just going to come and fix everything in the last days. So,
Couple of super
I'm kind of
chats.
surprised we don't have more apocalyptic literature being written right now.
We do. It's just in a different form. Okay, Cassie clearly for 5. Kip reads, Bible as she has spoke. AIG is a tankard of tallywhackers.
Thank you.
Tree Clam Tad for 2. AIG is a bag of Wes Huff's Streamception.
Oof, take a drink.
yes,
Freaking was.
yes, that was.
I was still pissed off about that today. Like, I woke up and I was like,
Yeah.
wow, I cannot believe he is that racist. Just blatantly racist.
Mhm.
Dapper, do you know what happened yesterday on the stream? And would you like to? It's gonna make me really sad, but-
Okay, so first, I don't think I do know. Second, normally I would say no, I don't want to know about that. However, people are here to see me suffer, so yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so the clip that really pissed everyone off is, and to the degree that even people who have watched Wes Huff before were like, what the I can't believe he said that. he went off on this tangent about morality and how, people can maybe to some degree have it intrinsically in his mind from God. And then he talks about Western cultures in contrast to Eastern ones. And he said, among other things, that Eastern cultures and religions do not have morality or a sense of the dignity and worth of each individual.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he just straight up said that they don't have morality or any kind of sense of the inherent dignity and worth of the individual. Yeah.
So I
Or
suppose
altruism. Oh, it was altruism. Thank you. He said they don't have altruism.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
I
Kinda
know how to
Well, you-
respond to that.
I know you blue screened, right? Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Somebody in chat was like, does he even know what a bodhisattva is? And so obviously he doesn't, because why would he? And it's like, once, we explained, hey, a bodhisattva is someone who has opted out of trying to achieve nirvana or enlightenment because they want to help other people shed their bad karma. And all
I
living
feel
beings
like-
shed their karma.
I feel like
People in chat
Wes
were like,
Huff
whoa,
would be
this
the
is
kind
even better.
might starve outside the Golden Temple because he doesn't know what happened.
Seriously.
For those of you
Maybe he
who might
wouldn't-
also not know what goes on in the Golden Temple, that's the
Just food.
holiest location for Six, and it is basically a 24/7 kitchen for
Yeah.
people to just go and have food at.
Yeah, just free food.
Because one of the biggest religious obligation for a Six is to feed people. Whoever comes to them, here's some food. That's what happens at Six temples. It's one of the major things they do, is just produce for people to eat.
Yep. Obviously,
Why?
Wes doesn't know that. So yeah, I think he's type to start off.
Literally altruism. He's
It was so bad. Okay, let me read this next super
So
chat.
bad.
My unfinished journey for 666. Hail Nero, Daps, Kip, and Vish, and hail sticking with the distressed dinosaur through thick and thin. Fist up emoji.
thank you.
Hail producer Gobbo 2 heart emoji.
Yeah, I know. I've been
So-
asked, so I'll let people know. The computer is currently in the shop. It has failed the first few attempts installing various fixes and updates. So they're still working on it. Have paid for the first few hours worth of labor, and it is a bit over 150 that I've so far shelled out.
Damn, eh?
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
Ugh.
expecting to hopefully have it back by Tuesday. But no.
Tree Clan
So-
tab 2. The apocalypse came for Kip's index finger first.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, the command
By the
about
way,
like cutting your hand off if it causes you to stumble, that was like a metaphor, I think. So don't take that.
No,
so
I
seriously.
think everyone who
Yeah.
tells women to cover up needs to pluck out their eyes. It's not a metaphor.
Yes. I mean, I agree.
It's doing very well, by the way. See how much
Oh,
I
you can move it around a little bit.
It's-
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Good.
So I could move it. It's just the bandage is like stopping a lot of the movement too. So
Olivia-
what's the word here? Do people want me to share the text as I read it? Because I've got it pulled up.
I will check the chat. I'll
So
check
no,
the-
apparently.
Okay. Olivia
Oh,
Williams,
but
Purple Fairy
it's-
for $6.99
that's
Beaver
tough.
Bucks. Right. I'm going to my dad's 70th birthday. Have a great stream. We'll catch up later.
Happy birthday to your dad.
Sorry. Yeah, I know I said no. It would be you could put a PDF on. I was gonna do. That's why I was wondering if if it would be better with the ebook.
Let's
but,
just
read
read
probably
through. And if
that in-
people
in the
need to get
chat.
the copy of the text, they can go buy it from a reputable bookseller.
That too. Okay, so before you do that, Kip, Babatond in the chat is asking, is it an important part of apocalypticism, whether the final outcome depends on human action or not?
Now, this is actually something that I make a point of in the chapter that I wrote, because I think that apocalypticism is sort of a a default of the Western cultural thinking. And I make the argument in the chapter that we're still promoting modern apocalyptic thinking, but not necessarily in the same way that they did in antiquity. The title of the chapter is Empire of the Walking Dead, and I called it that because it's based on an article that I wrote, I don't know, like 7-8 years ago now, where I was basically comparing and contrasting various apocalyptic images and themes between what we read in the Dead Sea Scrolls with what appears in the AMC TV show The Walking Dead, which was like my favorite show at the time that I wrote the chapter, the article.
That must have been a very long time ago.
It was a long time ago.
Did you
like I
know
said,
that you
probably
later discussing that chapter with someone who was on The Walking Dead?
Sorry, I missed that.
Did you know that you would later discuss this chapter based on The Walking Dead with someone who was on The Walking Dead?
Like, no idea, right?
That was an
It's
extra,
which is
y'all.
cool.
It was
the full
fun,
circle
but I was an extra.
Counts. We take that.
That was
What
the coolest
season,
actress
Vish?
gig in the biz. 4.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. So yeah,
That's
right in the
also
thick
the
of it.
season that wherein I quit watching. So
Oh.
I don't know how it was
Um,
that long, but yeah.
But maybe
Also, before you start, this is important. Gordon loves science for a very generous $49.99. Writes
Thank
for
you.
computer fun, Dapper. Thank you, Gordon.
It is very much appreciated. Also, I have to say, a number of people joined the Patreon this past couple weeks for substantial annual pledges. So I really do appreciate all of that because,
Nice.
boy, it's been one thing after another lately.
Yeah, that is deeply relatable, unfortunately. But also, I mean, this chat is one of the main ones that help get me through and keep me housed. So, yeah, it's a very generous chat, and it's very awesome that people feel that they can give. So,
I think we
Tree
call
Clan
this
Dad.
crap.
Yes. Tree
Not
Clan
to bring
Dad
on
for
mood.
2 writes Mattathaean Jerusalem zombies for the win.
That's part of that. Yeah.
Excellent.
So before I begin, I thought I would start with somebody actually took the time to go through the book and write an extensive review. They wrote it in like 8 parts. It's
Oh my God.
enormous.
Holy shit.
But I thought I'd read what they had to say about chapter 17, The Empire of the Walking Dead. It's quite short here. They really didn't like it. They said the final chapter in God's propaganda focuses on apocalyptic literature. Although Davis does give some general descriptions of what apocalyptic literature is, the majority of the chapter is dedicated to watching what I am assuming is his favorite TV show of all time, The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I mean, it was really good for a while.
He says,
The reviewer's
they
like,
say,
I'm starting to think this guy likes the TV show.
they continue, I'll be honest, I know about the show, but I've never watched it. Therefore, the vast majority of this chapter was incomprehensible to me. And believe me, Davis talks a lot about The Walking Dead in this chapter. In fact, there's probably more about The Walking Dead in this chapter than about the actual apocalyptic texts in the Bible. So that's so I'm sorry, he says, I've got nothing. So apparently he didn't understand it.
He needs to watch the TV show then. At least the first season.
Sure.
Petite Flower for $10. Save Dapper's computer or replace whatever. Are the drinking rules different? They are not. Feel free to.
They are, yeah, they're the same. Although I'm being a little bit more loose in terms of just having a sip every once in a while because we're talking about smart things, and Kip is a smart guy and not a dumb guy. They won't come up so much.
Also, we can drink for Chesh as a professional, or
Yes, that's true.
You know.
All right, Kip, take it away.
All right. Sorry, I lost my. Very good. Oh right, I popped the window out. Sorry guys. I'm being okay. All right, so
Drink
I'm just
like a
gonna start reading then. In 2012, I was kind of obsessed with The Walking Dead, as pointed out by the blogger who wrote the review. This was once, I mean, it's just totally not a show anymore. This was once an incredibly good television show for at least 5 seasons. Never mind what happened in the post-Negan years. The show
Man, we
first
did
aired on the 16th of October, 2011, and it cashed in on a surge of interest in zombies in popular culture and media. I think we can track how some of this emerged. I remember seeing it first in the fabulous film Zombieland from 2009, which featured breakout performances by Emma Stone and Jesse Eisenberg, as well as a delightful surprise cameo by Bill Murray. But the film was clearly based on novels by Max Brooks, the son of very famous and talented producer, director, and comedic actor Mel Brooks. In 2006, the younger Brooks published the bestseller World War Z, I guess, if you're an American, which was followed
Excellent
up
book.
by his. Sorry?
I said it's an excellent book, and do not let movie version of it that was crap.
No,
tarnish your
do
opinion of
not.
it. The actual World War Z or World War Z, depending on location, is amazing, as was the follow-up Zombie Survival Guide.
Yeah. So, yes, which was a follow-up to his Zombie Survival Guide, Complete Protection from the Living Dead from 2003. Of course, World War Z was turned into a Hollywood blockbuster in 2013, starring Brad Pitt. But years
Oh.
before that, Brooks's first novel provided inspiration to the very fun story of survivors of a zombie apocalypse on a cross-country journey to find safety in California. The fascination with zombies has produced ridiculous movies. Warm Bodies, 2013, was a
Yes.
Romeo and Juliet inspired zombie love story starring Nicholas Hoult. There was a wild alternative history film in the spirit of a Quentin Tarantino revenge fantasy, Abraham Lincoln vs. Zombies, in 2012. There was a tongue-in-cheek revision of an English literary classic, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, in 2016. But the 21st century zombie phenomenon has probably been most strongly felt in television. The Walking Dead broke new ground in television horror when it first aired in 2011. And this was followed up by shows like iZombie in 2013 and Z Nation in 2014. Even more recently, we saw Black Summer in 2019 on Netflix, or the phenomenal HBO rendition of the gaming classic The Last of Us. While the monsters in The Last of Us are not technically zombies, the game and the show promote so many of the same horror tropes that it might as well be.
Yeah, they're
And
not zombies.
yeah. This is not to mention an oversaturation in more recent years of Walking Dead spin-offs in the wake of the show's conclusion after a 10-year run in 2022. So, in 2012, I arrived with my young family in Norway to work on fragments of the Dead Sea Scrolls in a private collection, and I continued to devour the 3rd season of The Walking Dead. It was during this time that I started to see something new and very provocative in the show. I started talking a lot to my puzzled and occasionally concerned Norwegian colleagues about zombies, and how much they had to teach us about early Judaism and texts like those we read in the Book of Daniel or in the Dead Sea Scrolls. After some months, I did what any scholar does, and I started writing an article. In 2015, I published Zombies in America and at Qumran, AMC's The Walking Dead, The Dead Sea Scrolls, and Apocalyptic Redux in the very niche. Do you say niche or niche?
I say niche.
Yeah, in
Both
the
are
very
acceptable.
niche. Okay, nice. In the very niche, very fun journal, Religion and Popular Culture, published by the university. It used to be I think it's still published by the University of Toronto. It's a great journal, by the way.
That's cool.
By the time I got around to writing it, The Walking Dead was so popular that in season 5, it was the #1 show on television, regularly outdrawing Sunday Night Football. It aired on Sundays, which is a pretty remarkable accomplishment, I think. If you don't see it, don't feel bad. None of my colleagues saw it either before the article was published. In it, I tried to show how the rather sudden 21st century fascination in popular culture with zombie fictions is like a mirror of some of the cultural, political, and religious trauma that was endured by many Jews in the lead up to the rebellion against their Roman occupiers in 67 CE. The tensions in Roman Judea can be traced further back to the so-called Maccabean Revolt. In the mid-2nd century BCE, Jewish purists, so we are led to believe, allied themselves under a priestly family, the Hasmoneans, and successfully ended their subjugation to the Syrian or Seleucid rulers in Antioch. And prior to this, deep festering wounds wrought by dark memories of the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem and the end of the house of David churned a nationalistic fervor amid their preconceived persecution at the hands of the Persians, Greeks, and finally, the Romans. For hundreds of years before the rise of Pompey in 63 BCE, an emerging, distinctive sense of Jewish identity also slowly coalesced with visions of victory over these occupiers in the land of Israel. This is what scholars will often call apocalypticism, a worldview that eventually came to form Judaism and set the groundwork for Christianity. But for me, many of the features of these developments are also neatly aligned to the backdrop of the modern zombie the modern zombie stories and tropes that are most strongly codified in the AMC television series The Walking Dead. So, why the seemingly sudden but palpable captivation with zombies? In my article, I pointed to what I see in the modern Western world as a growing uneasiness about our self-security as a species, our survival, perception of the future, and place on the planet. There is an existential angst that we are experiencing that also has so many of us harboring visions of a dark and dangerous future. It's like a sort of modern day apocalypticism, and in the contemporary zombie narrative that manifests in a series of traditional apocalyptic themes that we observe in the formation of literature from early Judaism, and in particular within the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's fitting, and this is the final chapter in this book, it's fitting that we conclude our exploration of Israelite religions and history with the birth of Judaism and Christianity and the forge of apocalypticism, since this is, for so many of us, the world which we continue to inhabit. But first, some background and some clarification of terms to help us understand how we ended up at this point. So that's the introduction, and now we have a section break. I don't know.
But you're going to
what you
have to
wanna
wait
do.
because we have some super chats.
All right.
Reclaim Tad for 2. Kip's a smart guy until you get to the Spicy Mountains.
To get to where?
Spicy Mountains.
Oh, the spicy.
Naramda puts for 2. I smell a point about intertextuality.
Da, da, da.
Metageeky Platypus Librarian for 5. Fun fact, before Walking Dead, the creators had a comic called Battle Pope that dealt with the apocalypse. Dagan's next book could reference it.
Oh wow, I'm gonna have to check that out. So that's a Robert Kirkman comic then?
You'll have to ask. You have to ask them.
Oh,
because I don't
that's
know.
cool.
I don't read
Here's a fun fact.
Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
Battle popes are a real thing historically, and also Christian clergy were generally forbidden from riding horses into battle. They instead rode
They
Mules.
rode what? Mule?
mules.
My
Yes.
goodness. Wow. It feels like that couldn't have gone well.
It turns out that you can train a mule to be a battle animal about as easily as a horse. And while they're not as strong, they're actually more even-tempered. So it's actually not a horrible idea.
Interesting.
All right.
Also,
Shall I continue? Oh,
I was gonna say that there is a lot that has been written and said about the way that zombie stories reflect the current social anxieties of the time period. That's something that George Romero talked about quite a bit when he started putting out his zombie movies.
is it?
Plus,
I
also
was
the
just
fact
gonna.
that his original Night of the Walking or Night of the Living Dead, it included like a black main character, which was a huge deal. And to me, the scariest part of that movie was the fact that it started in like the afternoon when the sun's just out and you just see
Yeah.
dead people walking around. Like that to me was terrifying. It's like scary stuff only happens at night. And George Romero's like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
You know, the movie is public domain. We could just watch it sometime on the channel. All I would have to do is
Yeah.
censor out the small amounts of nudity.
That really is a
That
great
would be
idea.
cool because it's a great movie. It really is.
I'd like to point out maybe a couple of sources that I've drawn a fair bit from too. One of them is a book by Henry Giroux that was published in 2011 called Zombie Politics and Culture in the Age of Casino Capitalism. And another
That's
one,
much.
yeah, right. Let's see if I can find. I'm looking at my bibliography here. Another one was these are pretty old now, actually. 2006, a book written by Kim Paffenroth called "The Gospel of the Living Dead: George Romero's Visions of Hell on Earth." And that, shoot, I have to cough. I should probably have grabbed some water. And I might have to in a minute. But Paffenroth's book is actually published by Baylor, and it's very cool because it's a series of essays exploring the intersection between zombie art and media with Christianity, essentially. So it's very cool. It's kind of doing in Christianity what I'm also doing with the Dead Sea Scrolls and early Judaism in this chapter.
Cool.
One more super chat. Actually, two more because as I was speaking, another one came in. Tree Clam Tab for 5. Does Kip agree with Justin Sledge that Yahwehism went into exile and Judaism came out of it? I know Dan McClellan doesn't.
Yeah, I also am probably closer to Dan on this as well. I think finding that boundary between Yahwism and Judaism is becoming increasingly more fuzzy and difficult, especially prior to the Hasmonean period. So it's a good question, though. Thanks.
Katie Lewis for 5. May 1st, Dapper Dinosaur Doctor Who crossover fic focused on the love of Dapper and Chush was posted to AO3. Oh my god, it's cursed and also funny. Link in the chat.
If you're going to read yesterday, it, be prepared for very cursed things.
And as I said yesterday, I wish I could go back to the minutes of my life before I knew the words that existed in this order and what they referred to or printed on my screen.
The way,
in front of my eyeballs.
It was promised that there would be a dramatic reading by me and Chesh. So when my computer is back, we will have to figure out both when to do that and how to distribute it in a way that will not fall afoul of you.
Okay. Neuronda for 2. What the point? I think they accidentally a word. What was the point of the Walking Dead passage?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Why did you feel the need to connect apocalypticism to The Walking Dead specifically in your book, Kip?
Because I think that The Walking Dead is what used to be super cool. And I think it's a useful way, because I also, apocalypticism is properly understanding apocalypticism is not especially easy and straightforward for most people when they encounter it. And I think The Walking Dead is a nice way of providing a contemporary lens, I would say, into gaining a clear understanding of what's going on. So, as I say in the chapter a couple times, I feel like The Walking Dead is helpful for providing a better understanding of Jewish apocalypticism, and I think Jewish apocalypticism likewise is a helpful way of providing a clearer understanding of The Walking Dead and
Would you say that zombie
apocalypticism in the modern world.
fiction in the late 20th and early 21st century has thematic ties to, say, like 2nd century BC apocalyptic literature?
So many. And the wild thing about this is I'm almost entirely certain that these aren't intentional, right? Like, I don't think Romero was reading his early Jewish literature and keying in on things that we can see in common. Like, in many respects, this is just a reflection of what seems to be like uh, an anthropological social phenomenon, just the way that human brains process things. It's really interesting.
Cool.
Yeah. Should I continue reading?
Yes, please.
Okay. The next section here is called "It's the End of the World as We Know It." So, what do we imagine when we think of the word apocalyptic? The end of the world, economic and social chaos, environmental devastation, armies of God, and mortal combat with the devil's demons. All of these things are appropriately apocalyptic, but I don't believe any of them adequately describe all that there is packed into this word. The term itself is derived from a Greek word, apocalypsis, which just basically means uncovering or revelation, a revealing of what is to come. But apocalypticism is properly a worldview, an entire way of seeing and experiencing the world. And because we, in the Western industrialized world, have inherited so much of our own social makeup from our Christian founders, it can often feel like this is just a natural way of seeing things. In the last chapter, I talked briefly about theodicy as defined by James Crenshaw, the attempt to defend divine justice in the face of aberrant phenomena that appear to indicate the deity's indifference or hostility towards virtuous people. While the suggestion that God may be a capricious tyrant is never in consideration, apocalypticism is an expression of theodicy. Or more appropriately, one might say that theodicy is the mother of apocalypticism. Theodicy grapples with the vexing question of evil within a belief in the existence of an all-knowing, all-powerful, and all-good God. It strains to know why bad things happen to good people. If God, then why evil? In this vein, apocalypticism is a response to evil, but its form and function is explicitly rooted in a deep concern for history. It's both forward and backward looking in an effort to divine whatever it is that God is doing in this moment. Apocalypticism is an historical explanation of the present condition of the world, with a view that God's design and with a view to God's design and future actions. The present terrible state of things is understood as having a part within God's plan for history, which will culminate in divine deliverance in the very near future, in a utopian era of peace, international security, and well-being under the rule of God, the kingdom of God, as it were. Matthew chapter 13, verses 41 to 43 says, "The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will gather out of his kingdom all the entrapments and all who do evil, and hurl them into the blazing furnace, where there will be weeping and teeth grinding. Then those who are upright will shine like the sun in the kingdom of their Father. How blessed are you who are poor. The kingdom of God is yours. Blessed are you who are hungry. Now you shall have your fill. Blessed are you who are weeping. Now you shall laugh. Blessed are you when people hate you, drive you out, abuse you, denounce your name as criminal on account of the Son of Man. Rejoice when that day comes and dance for joy. Look, your reward will be great in heaven. This is the way their ancestors treated the prophets. But woe to you who are rich. You are having your consolation now. Woe to you who have plenty to eat. Now you shall go hungry. Woe to you who are laughing now. You shall mourn and weep. Woe to you when everyone speaks well of you. This is the way their ancestors treated the false prophets. But I say this to you who are listening, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who treat you badly. So that's Luke chapter 6, verses 20 to 26.
You know, up until that last
Apocalypticism.
bit, sounds a whole lot like where a lot of people are getting their persecution fetishes, and then they just forget that last.
They
where-
just forget that,
Yeah.
don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean-
that's the woke part. That's woke Jesus.
Yeah, that's woke Jesus.
Yep.
I was going to say that there is one branch of Christianity that is keeping apocalypticism very much alive, and it's evangelicals who are like dispensationalists.
Oh,
Because
and the Jehovah's
they're
Witnesses.
the ones that are, dispensationalists in general, but like very specifically like evangelical Christianity.
Oh yeah.
For the simple fact that they continue and actively produce sermons and podcasts and songs and whatever about, hey, the world is a really bad place and Jesus is going to come fix it. But if you really want to know why Hurricane Katrina hit where it did, it's because New Orleans is like a town of degradation and filth and prostitution, and that was God's judgment. So, I mean, they do this,
Yeah.
like you heard, what was the thing about one of the other televangelist types who was blaming the LGBTQ community for another natural disaster? This is just modern apocalypticism, like geopolitics. Oh, well, we're fine with Israel committing a genocide in Palestine because, those are evil Arabs and they work for the devil, and Jesus is going to come back and like fix everything and convert everybody. That's just modern apocalypticism.
Right after we let the Israelis destroy the the mosque on the Temple Mount and rebuild the temple, that Jesus
Also,
will come right.
centuries old Christian churches,
Well,
they'll
they're the
destroy
wrong kind
those
of
too.
Christian.
They're
Yeah,
the
wrong kind.
Yeah, wrong kind.
Evangelicals
Tree Clam-
barely even know that Eastern Orthodox Christians exist, and they do not care about.
They do not care. Tree Clam Tad for 2 writes, woke Jesus is against the rules, Dapper.
That's true. Yeah, you can't have a Jesus who's like weak and cares about
You can't have a low T Jesus. I mean, you have to have a high T Jesus. That's why he was put on the cross, like the higher one.
Well, I mean, have you seen him in those crucifixes? He is ripped. He must be high T.
Touche.
I don't know. I'm always seeing like the emaciated, skinny, bony Jesus that's on a lot of crucifix.
No, you're looking at the wrong ones. You got to look at.
Looking at the wrong ones. Okay.
Yeah, buff Jesus with a 6-pack.
Buff Jesus.
8-pack.
Chad Jesus.
8-pack Jesus. Yeah.
Well,
Chad Jesus.
Go for it. 12-pack.
A 12-pack, one for each disciple.
Exactly. See, which ties into the 12 tribes. It's all connected.
Oh,
That's right,
it's
man.
all
It's all
connected.
I see a lot more thick Buddha than I do thick Jesus, which is weird
thick
because
Buddha.
all the time, whereas Jesus was only fasting occasionally. Makes me think that, like, would think that Buddha would be skinnier, but what do I know?
I mean, I guess the images of Siddhartha Buddha are pretty like average build, but like
that's true. Yeah.
Later depictions of like the happy Buddha, those tend to be pretty Rubenesque.
Ample.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kip. We'll let you continue.
Thank you, Hollyhock. It was Pat Robertson.
Okay. It was. What's his name too? Falwell.
Jerry Falwell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He was big pushing that that narrative as well. Okay. Apocalypticism is how we describe this way of seeing things that draws sharp distinctions between cosmic powers of good and evil and harbors visions of a divine utopian solution. And here's where we get back to Lorenzo di Tomaso's definition. Apocalypticism asserts that a transcendent reality, concealed from casual observation yet operative on a grand scale, defines and informs existence beyond human understanding and the normal pale of world existence. It reveals a cosmos that is structured by two forces, good and evil, which have been in conflict since the dawn of history. It discloses a necessity and imminence of the final resolution of the conflict at the end of time and the truth about human destiny. So, in order to gain a clear understanding of what apocalypticism is, we need to first explore its roots in the history of the late Judean kingdom. The Deuteronomist's hero, the good King Josiah, was wounded in an ill-advised confrontation with his suzerain, the Egyptian pharaoh Necho II, on the plains of Megiddo in 609 BCE. You can read about that in 2 Chronicles 35, verses 20 to 24. Upon his death, upon the death of Josiah, the house of David in Jerusalem fell into increasing disarray. First, his younger son, Jehoahaz, instilled by the aristocracy, was rejected by the pharaoh and imprisoned. Necho replaced him with Josiah's older son, Eliakim, in 608 BCE. He renamed him Jehoiakim and imposed a burdensome tribute on his flailing administration. 2 Kings 23, verses 33 to 35. In 605 BCE, the increasingly powerful Babylonians, under the leadership of the young crown prince Nebuchadrezzar II, dealt a devastating blow to Necho's kingdom, pulverizing Egyptian forces at Carchemish. Over the next 3 years, Babylon pushed Egypt back to its traditional boundary and took control of the region of Judea, dead center in the critical Syro-Palestinian land bridge that connected Babylon to Egypt. Nebuchadrezzar met Necho on the battlefield once again in 601 BCE, but failed to advance into Egyptian territory. This may have emboldened Jehoiakim, who then reallied himself with Necho, prompting Nebuchadnezzar to drive his forces down to Jerusalem for probably the first time. In 597 BCE, the king of Babylon besieged Jerusalem and forcibly deported numerous of its most prominent citizens. This is from the Babylonian Chronicle, tablet 5, lines 11 through 13. Year 7. In Kislev, the king of Babylonia called out his army and marched to Hatu. He set his camp against the city of Judah, and on 2nd Adar, he took the city and captured the king. He appointed a king of his choosing there, took heavy tribute, and returned to Babylon. The siege was devastating. Jehoiakim died at some point in the midst of it, at the age of only 36. The prophet Jeremiah seems to have predicted a violent end for the besieged ruler. Hoy, the man who builds the house without integrity and his upper rooms without justice. He enslaves his compatriots for nothing and does not give him his wages. The man who says, I shall build for myself a large house, spacious upper rooms, break through its walls for my windows, who panels in cedar and paints with vermilion. Are you a king? Because you compete in cedar, your father, did he not eat and drink? He dispensed justice and equity. Then it went well for him. He upheld the cause of the poor and the needy people. Then it was good. Is this not the knowledge of me, an oracle of Yahweh? But your eyes and your heart are set on nothing, only your own profit, only on shedding innocent blood, only on oppression, only on exhortation. So now, this is what Yahweh has said to Jehoiakim, son of Josiah, king of Judah. They shall not grieve for him. Hoy, my brother! Hoy, my sister! They shall not grieve for him. Hoy, my lord! Hoy, her majesty! He shall be buried in the grave of a donkey, hurled well beyond the gates of Jerusalem. It's Jeremiah 22, verses 13 to 19. And all the
wanna-
Bible translations in the book are mine, by
Damn
the way.
you! Ee-hoy-me-hoy.
Hoi, hoi, me, hoi.
Doodle Bob. I'm sorry.
I got to point
real
out.
quick. Tree Clam Tad for 2.
Okay.
Ripped Jesus is in the KJV, the original text.
Mm.
Okay, go
I was
ahead.
going to point out the Bible says wage theft is bad and might cause the
Correct.
downfall of your country. So, like, I don't know,
Yeah,
do that.
yeah. It's so funny. We were actually reading that passage this week in my rabbinic cohort about how you are not to deny a worker their wages. You're going to give it to them that day. You're not supposed to like wait until the sun goes down or like until the next day. You're
Pretty
supposed to pay 'em,
important.
like that day.
Yeah.
So for Jeremiah to be like, buddy, you broke all the rules and you got wrecked. P.S. Rest in piss.
Yeah, he did. So Jeremiah is nothing if not a master of shade. One of the reasons why he's my favorite.
Yes, he is.
The word,
It's
the
true.
word I have left untranslated, hoi, is
Mm-hmm.
an interjection that can be translated like, hey, pay attention.
Hey.
But with his
Wait.
uncharacteristic frequent usage
So
of
it's
it
the
in this
Navi verb.
oracle, delivered
translate-
directly
The Ocarina of Time
What?
into Hebrew. That's all Navi says.
It's hoi. Hoi polloi.
Um,
Also, I do agree with what Megan Fox's giant boobs wrote in the chat. Payday means payday, sir,
Mm-hmm.
not pay the next week. Payday.
Yeah. Okay. So, but with his uncharacteristic frequent usage of this word in this oracle delivered directly against the king of Jerusalem, I also wonder if he's repeating it as a pejorative on the king's name. The name given to him by the Egyptian pharaoh, perhaps in this case, you, asshole. It should also not be lost on the reader that in verse 18, the consonantal Hebrew text has been corrected away from the feminine pronoun to a masculine pronoun. But in the original text, it read, I like to think, with dripping sarcasm, hoi, Her Majesty. Jeremiah is also not above casting misogynistic barbs at his opponents.
Also, that's a super
However,
easy,
interesting.
text change to do. Draw the yod down. There you go. Goes from he to her.
For the pronoun?
Yeah, for the standalone personal pronoun.
Oh, it's a suffix pronoun in this case.
Darn.
Yeah, I was going to say the
So,
suffix pronoun.
Yeah.
Are you saying
So
it's an
it's a-
enclitic?
So, yeah, but this part of this is what makes me think that this is pretty deliberate.
Yeah.
Pretty
Fine.
deliberate usage of the feminine here.
Yeah.
Like you said,
know
it's
this is
way
me-
easier.
This is me being very biased, but so
Mhm.
far I have not found any experiential evidence to the contrary. Is that one of the reasons that people just do not like reading the Bible is because no one ever reads it to them the way that the authors would have like transmitted it. They just read words and it's just boring as hell. Like some of these passages are shady. There was drama going on. People had epic owns going on, and you don't want to just be like, and then he said, you fool. Be like, he said, idiot,
Asshole.
dumbass. Like, come on. Crash outs. Yeah, exactly. There are crash outs and tea
Yeah.
and
Beefs. Tea.
again, epic ponage going on.
It's
so
very
It turns
good.
out that even thousands of years ago, people had drama like today.
Yeah,
hey,
they did.
any historian and anyone who reads history will tell you straight up, humans do not change. We have the same like senses of humor. We have the same like immaturity. We draw dicks on everything. You know, we're horny. We love rumors and gossip. Like,
Yep.
just who we are.
All true. All true.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes,
So-
Atomic Squirrel villain. I have done thy mother.
All right.
Amazing.
So, however interesting Jeremiah's prophetic criticism is, the main takeaway here, what I want to draw your attention to, is that Jehoiakim was perhaps thought to have been assassinated during the siege. This is certainly what Roman Jewish historian Flavius Josephus, writer of Antiquity of the Jews, believed
so
to be
old.
the case.
Every single one of them ancient.
Yes, so
Ancient.
old.
Old.
But
Old.
Flavius Josephus believed this to be the case, whether it was true or not. And I'm drawing here from the last bit that I read, where he says that Jehoiakim shall be buried in the grave of a donkey, hurled well beyond the gates of Jerusalem. So
Dude, that's incredibly shady. Like, I mean, literally, when I say that it's the equivalent of rest in piss,
yeah,
like, we're gonna bury you in an ass's grave, guy. Also, we're gonna hurl you outside
King.
the city. So
Yeah.
get wrecked. Tree Clam Tat for 2 writes, "Sign me up for Vish's Bible drama channel." You know what's funny is before you sent that in, I was just thinking, hey, one of the easy ways for me to just generate videos on my channel would be to do dramatic readings of Bible passages. And I've done them
Very good.
before, just not, separately on my own channel. And it would be something that I don't actually have to do a lot of prep work for. So it would be something that I actually could do on a semi-regular basis while I'm
Okay.
in the trenches of 16th century manuscripts.
So sometimes Bent listens to a Bible audiobook. I wonder what it would take to get him to replace his normal Bible audiobook with Ashanti's dramatic Bible reading.
I don't know. But I enjoy making people like the text, or at least laughing at it, in terms of like telling the stories, because some of them legitimately are hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Seriously. Like, I don't understand how people read certain passages without just bursting their gut laughing. But
You gotta also do a Tobit reading, because I think that's the funniest.
Tobit, yeah.
Starts
Yeah.
with bird poop in the eye.
Yep.
And don't come at me, Protestants, about this not really in the Bible. I don't care.
It's in the Deuterocanon, and you're
It
the new kids
is.
on the block. Shut up.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And they even had copies in the Dead Sea Scrolls too. Tobit.
See?
In the original Aramaic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Get wrecked, Protestants broadly, but not all of them.
Protestants who reject the Deuterocanon, get wrecked.
That's right. All right. The city fell in the month of March, and Jehoiakim's 18-year-old son, Jehoiachin, and I feel so bad for this kid,
Yeah.
was left to deliver Jerusalem's surrender. Nebuchadnezzar sent the young king and most of the royal family to live out their days in Babylon and appointed Jehoiakim's brother Mattaniah as his vassal, giving him the name Zedekiah. Many of the influential citizens of the city were exiled along with Jehoiachin's family and court. It is impossible to say how extensive the exile was. The biblical texts are not universal on this point. Reports from the Deuteronomists say that 10,000 exiles comprised of all the chiefs and all the fighting men in the army, along with an undisclosed number of all the craftsmen and metalworkers, leaving behind only the Ha'adits, the people of the land. That's 2 Kings 24, verse 14. Did you catch that?
Hang on a sec.
And I've used this.
1 sec.
Okay.
There's a super chat. Tree Climb Tad for 2 writes, "Fish isn't a Christian. Do all the Apocrypha." Like, yeah,
Nice.
sure. But also, Megan Fox's giant boobs in the chat says, "Canon implies the existence of head canon, and if you're Jewish, you know that's just the midrash."
Yep. So this is actually a callback to an earlier chapter where I've pointed to this term Ha'adits, the people of the land, as a specific designation throughout the text for the common people, like the poor people, or just the ordinary people, as opposed
The
to
people who aren't part of the noble.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So did you catch that?
The plebeians.
These are the same poor people we met in chapter 11, whose graves were desecrated by King Josiah in chapter 23, in 2 Kings chapter 23, verse 6. When Josiah, there's this famous story of Josiah cleansing the temple, right? Getting rid of all the so-called additional religious paraphernalia and other gods, and turning it into just a house of worship exclusively for Yahweh. And the sort of one of the key features of this is that he takes out the Asherah pole, says he grinds it up, and then he burns it, and then he takes the ashes, and it says that he scatters the ashes on the Ha'aretz. So he takes the ashes and then scatters them all over the graves of the poor people, which seems rude.
Bruh.
Little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, Kip, I have a
So-
question for you.
Yes.
And you might not know the answer to this, but do you think there are parallels between this story and the story of Muhammad cleansing the Kaaba of the various idols so that it can be, according to him, returned to the worship of the one God of Abraham? Because remember, Islamic theology says that the Kaaba was constructed by Abraham.
Right. I mean, I don't know that story, but it kind of, I mean, based on your description of it, sure sounds like it. But
Does anyone want to
Interesting.
take a quick break?
I
could use a break because I want to make a sandwich or a wrap.
I'm gonna get some water.
Same.
I don't know if we have like a
Right.
break animation. Should I just like chat? Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. Can't tell how many of you. So I'm just going to assume that we went up and that we now have 700 people viewing. And I don't want to hear anything to the contrary. I said I didn't want to hear anything to the contrary. Thank you for sticking with us through this very strange thing. I will go quickly and say, hey, I'm sure you guys know this channel is pretty much entirely supported through people's Patreon membership, super chats, all that stuff. So thank you very much. If you can afford it and you want to help support the channel, especially during these trying times when it seems like everything keeps breaking, check out the Patreon. It starts at $1 a month. You can get a 15% discount for going annually. You can check out the memberships. It starts at $1.99 for perks. There's also a merch store, and you can render for me to help me get animations out faster. There's directions in the description. Other than that, I think I'm going to hand it back off to Kip. Can read more of that book his dog wrote.
I want to nerd out. My Artemis
Very-
2 mission patch came in. How cool is that?
Extremely cool.
Very cool.
Nerd stuff.
Okay, so the poor people are the same people whose graves were desecrated by the King Josiah. They are the same people who would be left living in the ruins of the devastated land of Judah in the wake of Nebuchadnezzar's conquest. They're the same people disenfranchised by the fiery prophet Jeremiah in Jeremiah chapter 44, verse 21. How many were left behind and how many of the more affluent and influential people were exiled is unknown. The Deuteronomist gives different figures just 2 verses after their initial report. He says, all the men of the army, 7,000. The craftsmen and metalworkers, 1,000. The entire company of soldiers, men of war. That's 2 Kings 24:16. Jeremiah himself provides a smaller and seemingly more precise figure, 3,023 people in Jeremiah 52, verse 8. Scholars' estimates of the deportation range from a few thousand to well over 20,000 people. Whatever the number, the effect of this enormous loss resulted in leaving the city and the region effectively powerless and destitute. For another 8 years, the gutted city of Jerusalem limped along, and in 590 BCE, the puppet king Zedekiah, mounted an ill-advised rebellion to assert Judean independence. Nebuchadnezzar had been preoccupied by internal conflict, and this prompted the Judean king to ally once again with Egypt, who was pressing their advantage. This
And then
eventually
the
attracted...
Babylon was like, how many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
That's true, right? Yeah. So this eventually attracted the legions of Babylon to, once again, besiege the city in 587 BCE. 18 months of slow horror and starvation followed inside the high walls of Jerusalem. In the summer of 586 BCE, after the people had been emaciated by famine, Jerusalem's walls were breached. Babylonian troops flooded in and destroyed the royal quarter. The Temple of Solomon was torn down to the foundation stones. Zedekiah watched as his sons were slaughtered, and then he was blinded and chained. Huge tracts of the city were burned, and thousands more of the leading citizens were exiled to Babylon. From this point forward, large numbers of Judeans lived together in communities abroad, most particularly in Babylon and in the northern part of Egypt. But already, during the life of Jeremiah, the Babylonian invasion of Judah, the sack of Jerusalem, the destruction of Solomon's temple, the sudden death of the king Jehoiakim and the exile of his young son, the capture of Zedekiah and the deportation of massive numbers of Jews were all undeniable proof of God's judgment for Judah's unfaithfulness. The covenant of exclusion had been breached. My stomach, I am writhing. The walls of my heart, my fluttering heart inside me, I will not keep silent, because I have heard my life. The trumpets of war, disaster on top of disaster is proclaimed. The entire land has been suddenly devastated. My tent has been ruined. My curtains in a moment. How long shall I see the standard? I hear the trumpet sound. For my people are idiots. They do not know me. They are stupid sons, men without discernment. They're chakamim, skilled men for doing evil, but they know nothing of doing well. That's Jeremiah chapter 4, verses 19 to 22. Jeremiah, at the time, was likely seen by Nebuchadnezzar as an ally. He did, after all, promote the Babylonian invasion as a divinely orchestrated event. Look here, I am sending forth, and I will take all the families of the north, an oracle of Yahweh, even Nebuchadnezzar, my slave, and I am bringing them against this land, against its inhabitants, against all these nations round about. I am making them a cherem offering. I am setting them up for horror, for whistling, and for permanent ruin. That's Jeremiah 25, verse 9. In the aftermath, Jeremiah is left free to choose his own fate, to accompany the elite Jews to Babylon, or to remain in Judah with the people of the land. He stays behind and continues to proclaim hope for Judah's future, but only on the condition that they stay put. So says Yahweh, God of Israel, unto whom you have sent me to throw down your complaint before him. If you are diligent to remain in this land, then I will build you up and I will not tear you down. I will plant you and not uproot you, because I regret the disaster I unleashed against you. Do not be afraid of the king of Babylon, those of you who are terrified by him, an oracle of Yahweh, because I am with you to save you and to snatch you out of his hand. I've granted you mercy and taken pity on you. He has guaranteed your settlement in your land. But if you are saying, we shall not remain in this land, intent to not hear the voice of Yahweh your God, saying, no, we shall instead come to the land of Egypt, where we shall not see any war. We shall neither hear the sound of the shofar, nor shall we hunger for bread. There shall we settle. Now then, see that you heed the word of Yahweh, remnant of Judah. So says Yahweh Tsabaoth, God of Israel, if you are so determined to turn, setting your face to enter Egypt, and you come to live as an outsider there, then the sword is what you will go on fearing while there. It will overtake you in the land of Egypt. And that hunger about which you are anxious, it shall pursue after you there in the land of Egypt. There you shall die. So shall it happen to all the men who set their faces to enter Egypt, to live as outsiders there. They shall die by the sword, by hunger, and by daver, the plague. There will be no survivor nor fugitive in the face of the calamity I am bringing against them. So again, says Yahweh Sabaoth, God of Israel, just as my anger gushed forth and my fury onto the residents of Jerusalem, so also my fury shall gush out against you. When you have entered Egypt, you shall be the object of an omen, of a bad reputation, a curse, a taunt. You shall never again see this place. That's chapter 42, verses 9 through 18.
That's rough.
Yeah. So don't go to Egypt. It's bad. Don't
don't
do
do
that.
that. You'll
But
starve to
things
death
in
and
the
you'll
war.
die.
What was that?
You'll starve to
You'll
death and you'll
starve to
die.
death. And
You'll
you'll
starve
die.
to death and you'll die. Yeah.
And you'll have panic attacks about people attacking you.
About people chasing you and attacking you and killing you. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's true.
Yep.
But
That's what Egypt's like.
that's what Egypt's like. Bad. Things in the war-ravaged small kingdom are tumultuous. Another Babylonian sympathizer, Gedaliah, from the politically connected Shaphan family of scribes, was appointed the governor, thus ending the dynasty of the house of David. Gedaliah administered the region from Mizpah, located 12 kilometers north of the smoking ruins of Jerusalem. Davidite loyalists continued to promote their cause, which resulted in the assassination of Gedaliah, perhaps within weeks after his installation. While it is logistically improbable, the book of Jeremiah reports that large numbers of those remaining fled en masse south to Egypt and against the dire warning of Yahweh. It was likely not a large-scale emigration, as Jeremiah describes, but there is no question that Jerusalem residents relocated and established flourishing Jewish communities also in Egypt after the destruction of the city. This
Elephantine.
abandonment of Yahweh. Elephantine, yeah. Elephantini, I think, is
yes,
how
thank you.
it's how it's properly pronounced.
Victoria
yeah.
Macarius, I was
So-
drinking out of my yellow mug like for most of the stream up until the break.
Uh-oh.
Now it's in the kitchen because I drink all the coffee.
Because you did. Oh dear.
Yeah.
So,
You didn't make more?
I made enough for almost like 2 mugs, I think. And I drank part of that first mug before we went live.
You know, people say that if you take too much caffeine, it's bad for your heart. The Bible says that the
Mm.
heart is deceitful above all things.
above all things.
I'm pretty sure your heart's
Very
a liar.
true.
You just drink as much No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. About to get sued because someone was like,
yeah,
"Oh,
don't
Papa
me.
said I could drink 15 grams of caffeine and it's fine." I did not say that. I was kidding. It was a joke.
All right.
Kip,
Where was I?
question
Yes.
from Johnny Appleseed in the chat.
Okay.
The community that fled to Egypt built a new temple with 2 gods or 2 idols or deities in it. Is that correct?
Yeah. In Elephantini, and there were probably others too, right? Who fled to other parts. I mean, there was by the 3rd century BCE a thriving large Jewish community in Alexandria. We know of a Jewish community in Leontopolis. This here, Jeremiah talks of a Jewish community in Tophanes. So there were a bunch, and importantly, one of the really intriguing things about how this plays out is that a lot of these places seem to have had their own ideas about who Yahweh was, how to worship him, the rituals, the traditions, all these sorts of things. It sort of feels like are up for grabs.
Are you
and
saying that
not-
religions are internally diverse and complex?
Yeah,
What?
yeah, very complex.
And that
Wild.
Josiah's version of that practice might not reflect the historical one?
Perhaps not.
Gasp! Oh, super chat from Tree Clam Tad for $5. I feel like Adonai, Lord of Armies, should have done something about this whole conquering and exile thing, but that's just 2020 hindsight.
He had all
Well,
those
I mean-
stars up there.
According to the prophets we're going through, it was not just that he knew about it. It was his plan in the first.
Mhm.
He
That's
he
part of
wasn't
this,
just
right?
blindsided. It was like, these guys aren't worshiping me the way that the Deuteronomists just made up with the reformed Josiah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You better act right. And they didn't. So he was like, all right, go to timeout, aka Babylon. And the people that stayed or were left behind were like, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to Egypt. And then they did.
A bunch of people stayed in the
Yeah,
land
bunch of
too,
people
right?
stayed.
Like it's not.
Oh, yeah,
it's
yeah.
But some
it's
people were like,
complex, but
I'm out of here.
Yeah, lots of them were. So, this abandonment of Yahweh's clear instruction is read in sharp contrast to the much more sympathetic appraisal of the exiled community, as seen in the prophecy of Jeremiah's letter to the Judean elites who had been relocated to Babylon. For, so said Yahweh, at the passing of 70 years for Babylon, I will see to you, and I will keep my good word to you, to bring you back to this place. For I know with surety the thoughts I have for you, an oracle of Yahweh, thoughts of well-being, not disaster. I will give you an end and a hope. Then you will call to me, walk and pray to me, and I will hear you. You will seek after me and find, because you have earnestly pursued after me with your whole heart, and I will be found by you, an oracle of Yahweh. So I shall overturn your captivity, and I shall gather you from all nations, from every place where you are scattered, an oracle of Yahweh. I will then return you to this place where I deported you. Jeremiah 29:10-14. So there's a decided promotion throughout the Hebrew Bible narrative of this group of Jewish exiles in Babylon. Over time, they came to be regarded as the future of the Judean kingdom, Yahweh's remnant. It's not by accident that these were the people who were maintaining the literary heritage of the ancient Israelites. This is just expected on the basis of how the demographics shifted so dramatically in an event like the Babylonian exile. The entire scribal apparatus of the house of David was essentially transplanted to Babylon, creating a situation of concentrated literacy, while leaving behind in the environs of Jerusalem the common people, the illiterate, the Am Ha'aretz, the people of the land. The wealthiest, most prominent, and most powerful of the Jerusalem residents now lived abroad, either in Babylon or potentially also in Egypt, and they took with them the raw literary materials that would eventually come to form the Hebrew Bible. These people were members of the royal and priestly stock who once held closely to a traditional view of the dynastic state of Israel and the divine sanction of the house of David. With the kingdom now ended, this produced a theological crisis which required resolution. When reading the Hebrew Bible, one can get a sense that following Nebuchadnezzar's campaign, the city of Jerusalem was just completely emptied and left desolate. But while the city itself was ruined, the region was not entirely depopulated. As we have noted on several points already, those who remained in Judah were inconsequential enough to be considered harmless collateral, at least insofar as the text is concerned. Only the poorest of the land were left by Nebuzaradan, chief of the guards, for vine dressers and farmers. So that's Jeremiah 52, verse 16. Indeed, thousands of people continued to live in the land as they always had. People who perhaps more closely aligned themselves to the ancient ideals of pre-kingdom tribalism than they were proponents of seemingly now failed royal ideology and the state. So there remained in the wake of Jerusalem's end several individual groups who would go on to claim a heritage as sons of Israel. These communities in Babylon, in Egypt, and continuing on in Palestine were fractured by distance. They became more and more alienated from one another, and this in turn increased tensions between them. The literature that was produced in the exilic communities became deeply informed by this tension, and the prophecy that continued into the post-kingdom period also reflected a new ideal about the true identity of the Jews, the land of Israel, and their bright future. But if in this you do not hear me and rather confront me with hostility, I will come at you with furious anger. Even I shall rebuke you 7 times for your sins. You will eat the flesh of your sons. The flesh of your daughters you shall consume. I will wipe out your bamot and will shatter your incense altars. I will heap your carcasses upon the corpses of your shit gods. By my own well-being shall loathe you. I will leave your cities in ruins. I will make your sacred places deserted. I shall not smell your soothing aromas. I am the one who will make the land desolate. Your enemies who settle in it shall be appalled by it. As for you, I shall scatter you among the nations and will draw the sword behind your back. Your land shall be deserted. Your cities will be in ruins. Only then shall the land restore its Sabbaths, all the days of its desolation, you in the land of your enemies. Only then the land shall rest, and its Sabbaths will be observed. All the days of its desolation it shall rest where it had not rested in your Sabbaths, when you were settled in it. As for those who remain among you, I shall bring despair on the hearts in the lands of their enemies. The sound of scattering leaf will pursue them. They shall flee the flight of the sword. They shall fall even when no one is chasing them. A man shall stumble with his brother as if from the sword, yet there is no one in pursuit. You shall have no power to stand in the face of your enemies. You shall perish in the nations, in the lands. The land of your enemies will eat you. I won't read the rest of this. It's
Okay,
quite long. It's
real quick.
from Leviticus 26.
Yeah. Joshua Geese gifted 5 Dapper Dinosaur memberships. So take 5
Thank you.
drinks.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
get to
well,
be
I take-
excited that I got tickets to see Guar this week.
Nice. While I take the 5 drinks,
So.
I would like to ask Kip answer a question for me.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, when during the exile, the scribes taught 17th century English so that they could translate the Bible into Hebrew?
Yes. I mean, that's oh, you just that's all you have to do is just read your Bible, Dapper. That's just, I mean, just read it. It's right there.
Okay, pretend I've never read the Bible. What section
Okay.
should I go to find out about when they learned English?
All the sections are written in English.
Right, but does it tell me when the scribes learned English?
The Tower of Babel.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yes. So
Wasn't that when they forgot English, though?
I don't know that
God
they
damn,
forgot it.
I don't
maybe,
know.
but
Well, if they didn't forget it, then why didn't everyone just keep speaking English the whole time?
maybe they thought they were speaking English, but what came out of their mouth was something else.
That's probably
Oh.
it. Honestly, everybody's just
It's
like
like a
today.
weird sort of
I'm
aphasia.
pretty sure, like today, right? Anybody who speaks other languages thinks they're speaking English, but it's just different words
Yeah.
coming out of their
Well,
mouth.
that's also
Right.
why if you speak English loudly and slowly, people who don't know
Everybody can
English will
understand.
understand.
Exactly. Yes. Very
No es como lengua.
good.
Imagine that. You're just
Uh,
what?
So in this chunk of text from Leviticus chapter 26, there's a very obvious point being made that the land itself is becoming purified through its emptiness. There's nobody there. There's nothing happening there, and it's through that. It's because of that the land is now becoming purified so that people can eventually return to it. So notice the ritual urgency in this bleak projection. The land must be emptied. Its utter ruin and abandonment is necessary for the payment of the people's rebellion against Yahweh. Only those who survive will be cast into the hands of their enemies, languishing in places far away from the land, observing its rest. But there's a hope among those who are suffering in exile. They are making the payment for their sins and the sins of their fathers while the land remains empty, at rest. This is the myth of the empty land, which is still full of farmers and vintners, the poor people who have been erased.
Real quick. Sable Eagle in the chat writes, the Tower of Babel was where they went from all speaking English to speaking Somerset English, Surrey English, Lancashire English, Yorkshire English, Geordie, Black Country English, Norfolk English, etc. So is
that's what Kirk was
is the Mancunian and Liverpool accent, is that part of the curse?
Amazing.
Or Scouse for sure.
So why is it that all the biblical scholars ignore the priority of the English? Are they just stubborn people who hate God?
It's because of Big Bible, Dapper.
No.
All these questions stem back to Big Bible. You know, the secret shadowy cabal of tweed jacket bow-tied Bible scholars who actually control, the machinations of the global economy.
Hebrew was invented by Big Bible to sell more Bibles.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. That's it.
Okay. Okay, I get it.
Okay. Yeah. That's why, yeah, all the mustache twirling Bible scholars. It's,
Yes. I mean, you all have mustaches.
yeah. And we twirl them.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you do with a mustache, really?
That's what you do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Danielle OS in the chat rates, are elbow patches the mark of the beast?
Yeah. leather, suede elbow patches.
It's suede.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I used to have a blazer with elbow patches.
To the surprise of no one.
No one.
You can't be a proper PhD without one.
Yeah.
No.
It's
It
they
was
issue
cool,
it to
though.
you after you fight the snake and after they give you the sword. Issue the tweed jacket with elbow patches.
Oh,
That's
this
right. I
one
need to
wasn't
find out what
tweed.
snake my brother fought.
This one was not tweed. It was black, kind of a very, very dark, like a midnight blue, actually. I really like that jacket, but when you get older, you get thicker, so it stopped fitting.
You go from being the shredded Jesus on the cross to the fat Buddha.
That's it. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what happens.
If you don't appreciate me at my Siddhartha Buddha, you don't get to enjoy me at my happy Buddha.
No, Jillian. Actually, I don't think I own a denim jacket anymore.
I was gonna say you're legally obligated to have a Canadian tuxedo somewhere.
I used to.
All right, we're gonna have to start a GoFundMe.
Nobody knows that I don't anymore, though.
We're gonna have to start a GoFundMe for Kip to restore his academic credentials by getting a new wardrobe full of appropriate jackets.
Thank you. I have so much use for them these days.
Well, you got to put them on when you go to conferences. You're writing
It's true.
your first book.
Yeah.
So I'll continue reading the fifth book that I've written.
This is like at best a negative first.
Oh my god, this is so cursed. Rashina writes, I thought it was tweed patches on a leather jacket. Ugh.
Oh no.
Ugh.
I think that's what archaeologists wear.
Oh, that's what Graham Hancock's pseudo-archaeologists wear, so they can counter the narrative of big archaeology.
People who go just take walking towards the pyramids and then say, "I've been to these locations, guys." Like,
I'm an
okay,
expert.
cool.
Big
No
corduroy.
human could polish stone to this mirror finish.
Dumb.
I do have a corduroy jacket that I do still. Vish has seen it. She's seen the
Yeah.
brown
You wore it
corduroy.
at SBL, right?
Does that one have? Do you remember? I don't even remember. I have to go back and look and see if it's got patches on the elbows.
I'm thinking that it does, but I could be mistaken.
If it doesn't, we'll have to
That's
attack.
the one that you brought to SBL, though, right?
Yeah. I have I have a
could've
grand
sworn it had
total
that
of
elbow
like
patches.
3, and I usually bring I usually bring 2, because I don't like wearing the same one every day. So, but
I don't know.
I have to go back and look. All right. So, this narrative developed within an entirely revised view of the world that we have come to identify as apocalypticism. A view of God's elaborate plan for Israel that has unfolded through history and will culminate ultimately in his vindication of the righteous and condemnation of the wicked. The roots of Jewish apocalypticism are in earlier prophetic literature like Isaiah 24-27 and prophecies of 2nd Zechariah, that's Zechariah 9-14. And while the date of a text like the so-called Little Apocalypse in this section of Isaiah remains controversial, it does seem likely that at an early stage in the editing process of the Hebrew texts, in the post-exilic period, these texts were formative in developing the ideology of later Judaisms in the Hellenistic period, that is, in the 3rd century BCE.
Thank you for
and
writing
beyond.
Judaisms. Thank you.
Yes, it's very important. And I have a quote here, and I have to look and see where it comes from. The focus of attention shifted from contemporary events of political history to the realm of eschatology. The primary intent of this new literary mode was no longer that of shaping foreign policy per se, but the preservation of the people of Israel in the impending crisis by means of hope in events yet to come. I'm going to look up this footnote.
You don't remember all
Chat-
of your foot?
Sadly, no.
Chad is now brainstorming what the outfits would look like for each branch of pseudo archaeology, pseudo in whatever field. So
Well, we already know that we have
Oh,
a
nice.
geologist who appears on Donnie Badinsky's channel. He just basically cosplaying Indiana Jones every time he's there. The hat.
All right, so the quote is from Dwayne Christensen, who wrote an article for the Anchor Yale Bible Dictionary. So the nations become encoded. They are especially pronounced in their opposition to Israel and to God, and the focus becomes increasingly more global. That's, an anachronism. I'm aware of that. More global, cosmic, and eternal. Look, a day is coming for Yahweh, and your spoil shall be divided in your midst. Then I will gather all the nations to Jerusalem for a war. The city will be captured, daughters will flee, women will be assaulted. Half the city will go into exile, but the rest of the people will not be wiped out from the city. Then Yahweh will come out, and he will fight against those nations like the day of his fighting on the day of battle. His feet shall be planted on that day on the Mount of Olives, which faces Jerusalem from the east. The Mount of Olives will be cleaved in half from east to west, a huge gorge. Half the mountain will shift to the north and half south. The valley in the mountains will be stopped up, for the valley in the mountains will reach to Azel. It shall be stopped as it was stopped because of the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, king of Judah. Then Yahweh my God comes, all the Kiddoshim with him. These are divine beings. So shall it be on that day. There shall be no light, cold and frost. It shall be one day. It is known to Yahweh, no day and no night. It shall happen at the time of evening. There shall be light. So shall it be on that day. Living water will pour out of Jerusalem, half to the eastern sea, half to the western sea. It shall happen in summer and the winter. Yahweh will be king of the entire earth on that day. There shall be one Yahweh, and only his name. That's Zechariah 14, verses 1 to 9.
all right.
Hey, does living
We
water
have.
sound? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, living water sound like it should be a Spider-Man villain?
Free Clam Tad sent in a $5 super chat. When is Kip going to talk about the Merkava's sick rims and ground effect lighting? I need to know if Adonai was blasting Get Low or Get Back.
These are the questions.
say
that people
neither.
ask.
These are the
I
questions
say
of our
neither.
time, aren't
I
they?
think I'm with Dan McClellan on this one, and it was Dragula.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that don't know that joke, in one of his videos, Dan was describing the chariot or the Merkava vision that Ezekiel had, and it was directly meant to solve the problem that the Babylonian exiles had of like, how do we worship our God because we're in a foreign land? Like at that time, gods were region locked, and if you weren't in their land, you really couldn't worship them. So Dan explains that the Merkava, which is God's chariot on these like wheels, he says in his words, God fires up the Dragula and just, zooms over to Babylon
Yeah.
so people can worship him wherever.
Yeah.
But here's a question
Should be
about
awesome.
God's Merkaba. which is how does it deal with the artificial Merkabahs from the Martians who were colonizing Atlantis?
Mm, the time
And they were
traveling
doing that
Hebrews.
before the time travel. Yeah, the time travel Hebrews.
I mean, it
Like,
Mhm.
was God even around with his
It is-
Merkabah for that? I don't know.
They were made after
I
the
mean,
pattern that they saw in the AutoZone.
Oh, okay,
guess
that
so.
that checks out.
Get in the
I
zone.
guess so.
Yeah, because we
Wow.
can't forget about the Atlantean space time travel Hebrews and the Martian. Can't forget them. They're very important to the story.
I would love to get in my Merkava right now and go to the nearest Waffle House. And as well.
Man, a waffle sounds really
I
good.
had last weekend. We had an open house, and I went to the Beetle Cafe, which is pretty
Did you eat
awesome
beetles?
because no, I ate I ate a croffle. I had chicken and croffle.
Is that
So I
made of
had
beetle?
no. Do you know what a
Oh,
croffle is?
No.
You guys know what a croffle?
No.
Oh, really? Croffle is a waffle made with croissant batter, and it
Oh.
was topped by a piece of fried chicken with
Does sound pretty good.
with fruit, with 2 types of berry butter and maple syrup.
Whoa. Oh my
Damn.
god. Listen,
That
chicken and
sounds
waffles
better
by
than what I
itself
was
is
imagining.
already really awesome, but that sounds delicious.
My God,
See, what I
it's
was
so good.
imagining was last time I was in Seoul, there was a street vendor who was selling deep fried beetle or pupae in flatbread wraps.
Did you
And
have one?
Well, so my Korean companion suggested that I have one, and my counter proposal was, why don't you have one first, and I'll have one, and she declined, so carried on with our day.
Oh, okay.
Noise ending in the chat just says the last time I went to Waffle House, I felt like I was gonna die afterwards. Like, no. You don't go there in perfect health. You go there when you're like shit-faced drunk at like 1 or
Mhm.
2 in the morning. That's when you
And
go.
if you die, it's going to be in the Waffle House, not when you're
Megan
leaving. Once
Fox
you're
is
safe now.
Yeah, but also
Megan
like
Fox
the
is
employees have to learn how to fight unless they already knew how to fight, which is how they got hired.
Right.
So you're fine. You're safe in a Waffle House. It's a Waffle Home.
Waffle House is actually just a front for MMA recruitment. All that's actually going on there.
Street fighting. Those are street brawlers.
Megan
That's not an
Megan
MMA.
Fox's boobs is wondering if she says they say that sounds American. Why have I never heard of it before? Are you asking about croffles?
I don't think it
Or-
is particularly American. It turns out that making super unhealthy food is something that a lot of cultures do. It's not just America. America just kind of specializes in it.
I'd
In the chat.
never had a croffle
person-
before I went to the Beetle Cafe.
Okay, well, I need to add that to my bucket list. Number 1, the person that I have named Guard or Guardi. It writes, before the Dragula, they had to dig through the ditches to get enough soil to worship outside of Israel. Yes. Tree Clam Tad follows up with, if you haven't felt like you're gonna die at a Waffle House, have you been to a Waffle House?
True.
I've actually never been to a Waffle House.
Well, if you do,
Hey.
go scrap.
I'm pretty sure they have Waffle Houses in Denver, so at SBL we're gonna have to make a special trip and go to Waffle House.
Also make a special trip.
You've not lived
I
until
was-
you've had the hash browns.
I will say I was excited because I thought I had the opportunity to go to a Waffle House the last time I was in Orlando. But then it was closed or something. No, it
What?
was what happened. No,
there a
it wasn't
hurricane?
closed.
Yeah,
No,
that's
no,
the only
no,
time
it
they
was-
close.
There was like I don't remember why there was a reason we couldn't go. And I was
I was
disappointed.
gonna say
and
it
we
is
ended up-
very, very rare for Waffle Houses
Yeah,
to close,
yeah.
such
Yeah.
that
No,
for a period of time, our actual like emergency response had what they call the Waffle House Index, because
Yeah.
Waffle House will stay open in natural disasters until they physically cannot.
Yes. Right.
Yep. It's
So
sort of like the pizza index around the Pentagon for when the United States is going to launch a military operation, because the more
Right.
Pizza deliveries go
ordered-
up. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like the one there was like a renovation going on or something.
Oh, good.
stupid like that,
Jillian
right?
confirms
So,
there are a lot of Waffle Houses in Colorado. Excellent.
nice.
There you go.
Very good. Very good.
The
So,
last time I was in
right.
Colorado, feels like it was like a decade ago. Gee,
I did a couple layovers there on my way to Dragon Con, but
I don't
I
count
think I've actually
layovers.
been outside the airport, so I'm looking forward to that.
The
Although I
last
do
time
always
I
like
was
to
in
see
Colorado was my first time in Colorado. I've only been to Colorado once. So, and
Colorado.
it was funny because I went out drinking with my buddies when I got there, and went to bed and woke up with a splitting headache, but not because I thought in the moment I was like really confused because I'm like I didn't drink that much. I was not hungover. Like I wasn't
Altitude sickness.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I discovered this.
Mhm.
It took a bit. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh
It's
my
real.
God. My brain
If
is
you are
starving
from
of
a low
oxygen.
elevation place and you just show up in Denver, take it easy, plenty of
Yeah.
water. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I learned the hard way. So Mile High City.
Yeah.
Different from
So
the Mile High
this
Club.
Yeah.
Kip, we're gonna get an opportunity to pass Lucifer when we leave the Denver airport. So
Oh, good.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
I
Yeah.
like Lucifer. He's great.
The sculptor
So
liked
this
Lucifer right up until the end.
Right up until it
Who
killed
did?
him.
Yup.
Who?
The
The guy
artist who
who
designed Lucifer. He got killed during this construction of the statue. It crushed him.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
It's wild.
for fans of Omen's importance, there you go. That's one.
You know,
That's
normally
very
I'm
much-
like,
yeah.
I don't think the Denver airport is hiding secret satanic rituals or tunnels for aliens. But then again, the
But
red-eyed
Lucifer,
horse killed the artist who made it. So, like,
yeah,
I don't
the
know.
red-eyed devil horse. Seriously. Yes, Jillian Wren, and I'm going to give him his dice. I will never live down that failure of my
Finally.
mission. It was in my backpack the whole freaking time.
This time,
Out
put
of
it in
sight,
your
out of mind. No, this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie the little gift pouch around my neck.
Okay.
Awesome.
Listen, I have to outsmart this stupid brain wiring sometimes, so
All right. So this vision of the future draws on ancient traditions of Yahweh, the strong man of Israel, their divine warrior and champion, who now fights entire nations and rules the whole world. But this is the 3rd century BCE. It is hundreds of years now since the Babylonians demolished the city of Jerusalem. In that time, descendants of those from the old Judean kingdom, the people of the land in Palestine, and the remnant and clustered more literate communities abroad from Babylon to Egypt live under imperial control. After the Babylonians, it was the Persians, and after the Persians, the Greeks. Centuries of occupation, dispersion, and isolation promote strong feelings of nostalgia for a cultural heritage that is dwindling. Feelings of marginalization and oppression intensify to a point
So
where
hold
the
on.
only hope for
Was pre-exiled Jerusalem the early Jews, like the 1980s apparently is to everyone in North America right now?
was the
Just lost in nostalgia,
pre-exilic
not always for
Jerusalem.
great reasons, and ignoring all the
What?
bad parts.
I missed all of that. Was the
Was
pre-exilic
the pre-exiled Jerusalem for early Jews what apparently the 1980s is for everyone in North America? It's to say the thing we all remember with nostalgia for no reason, even those of us who don't remember it, and we also gloss over all the shitty parts.
Absolutely. Yes, 100%. That's very good.
Okay. So if there was an
So-
ancient Jewish, like Stranger Things, it would be set in like the years just before the Babylonian exile.
Damn straight it would. Yes.
mhm.
Just before. Yes.
Yeah.
So even those of us who lived through the 80s, and like I was in high school in the 80s and I hated high school so much. And yet, the memories are all just very
Now hold on,
fond
that must be
for
a lie
some reason.
because you're way too boomery to have been only in high school during the 80s.
No.
that you were-
I'm
like,
not a boomer.
coded.
me at all. I am
Oh,
not.
boomer
I am-
coded. I forgot.
Yeah, remember Gen X can go either way.
Yeah. In the words of the Indiana Jones, he chose poorly and went boomer sided.
He's just boomer coded. He's not an actual boomer.
Just whatever. Okay.
He takes this abuse.
Feelings. I'm just gonna read. Feelings of marginalization and oppression intensify to a point where
See,
the
that's
only hope
He's talking
for
about himself.
You're interrupting me. What are you saying now?
I'm just saying that when you talked about of oppression intensified, that's you.
Oh.
You're feeling the feelings of oppression intensify right now.
It's true. That's very true. To the point
he has
where the only hope
developed
for an idealized Jewish solidarity and
mindset of-
independence takes
of
shape.
marginalization.
What?
You have developed a mindset of marginalization as well.
I have. Every time I'm here, that's for goddamn sure.
And
So-
yet you continue to show up.
I know. I don't know. I don't know. It
appreciate
is
it.
also because you guys give me the opportunity to say things from time to time.
Yeah. I
And
learned
as-
things.
I mean, you have been
As
doing most of the talking so far.
It's very true. Yes. No, it's a wonderful day for me. Okay. So these if I can ever get through this sentence.
Well, Noise Ending says that you should screenshot yourself holding the book and giving the finger and use that as your profile pic for everything.
I do think that's probably true. You should.
That would be
I
cool.
should. I don't think I don't have enough hands to do.
Add in some extra hands in post.
Yes. I found a medieval drawing of this. Hang on, go ahead. I'll go track it down and put it in the chat.
I am going to finish this sentence. Feelings of marginalization and oppression intensify to the point where the only hope for an idealized Jewish solidarity and independence takes shape in fantastic pipe dreams of cosmic intervention. Apocalyptic views of this fanatically optimistic expectation took shape in the visions of Daniel and in the Aramaic collection of Enoch texts from the late 3rd and early 2nd centuries BCE. And I have this long quote here from Daniel chapter 7, verses 2 to 14. I'll just read part of this.
But remember, Enoch is forbidden, as we learned previously. You can't read it. You're not allowed to.
Did I
Oh,
quote?
right, yeah.
I don't think I have an Enoch citation in this section of the book. I think
Well,
that's
good. That means that the Bible police won't come get you.
Very good. Very good.
Because if you're going to read from
So-
Enoch, you have to be Ethiopian. It's the law.
Okay.
All right. So
Yes,
I'm just
it's not
reading
like,
the
oh no, I'm in trouble.
I know. Also, the medieval illustration is what I envisioned
Oh,
Kit
yes.
photoshopping into the his profile picture.
I have to look at this. It's in the chat.
It's
here.
in the chat as well. There's an account called Weird Medieval Guys, and they post
yes.
weird illustrations like this. And their caption for this was not to point fingers, but that's it.
I like how the
Well,
guy
you said
behind
you
the
didn't have
lectern is like, wait, I didn't do anything.
Whoa,
What are you talking?
hang on. Hold up.
That's awesome.
I
love
yes,
that.
AI level of
Right.
hands.
That was
Listen,
actually a
humans just like drawing
by
weird
AI.
shit.
Yeah, they did. They sure did.
Yeah, Dutch Tunicate officials asking, well, how else do you show motion?
I mean, motion lines work.
Well, I mean,
They didn't
this was
they didn't
late
have
20
those yet.
Yeah, maybe they hadn't
They
been
figured
invented.
that out, I guess.
Figured out the motion lines. Or the stinky
That
waves.
happened.
Oh
Check
yeah,
it
the
out.
stinky
Yeah.
waves are good.
Metageeky
Especially if you draw a
Platypus
little-
Librarian for $2. Right, fact. Museum assassins and Bible cops are the same.
Yeah, I've heard that. That does sound right. You gotta watch out for the museum assassins.
Looking at this photo, it's too funny.
I still can't believe Cindy Lincoln just said that some guy was chased down by museum assassins, and she said it with a straight face and perfect credulity, and I'm just like, oh no,
Oh, bless her heart, Cindy.
what are you doing?
Bless her heart. Tree clam tad for $5. I'm gonna finish this sentence. Every young Earth creation is featured on this channel. AIG is a clutch of Kip's fingers.
Take a drink.
All right. I am actually going to read Daniel chapter 7.
Okay.
Okay, let's go.
So it happened in my night vision. Look, 4 winds of the sky churning up the great sea, and 4 great animals came out of the sea, each different from the others. The first was like a lion, having the wings of an eagle. I watched on as its wings were plucked off, and it was lifted off the ground and set on its feet like a man. It was given a human heart. Then look, a second, different animal that was like a bear, raised on one side. 3 ribs were in its mouth, clenched in its teeth, and then they said to it, stand up, eat a lot of flesh. After this, I continued to watch and look. Another one like a leopard, with 4 wings of a bird on its back. The animal had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. After this, I continued to watch in my night vision and look. A 4th fearsome animal, terrible and exceedingly strong, having large teeth of iron, devouring and pulverizing. It trampled the remnant under its feet. It was different from all the animals that were before it, having 10 horns. While I was staring at the horns, look, another little horn came up between them. Then 3 of the original horns were plucked out, making way for it. And look, eyes like the eyes of a man were on this horn, and a mouth talking big. As I was watching, thrones were set down. The oldest of days sat down. His clothes were like snow, white. The hair on his head was like pure wool. His throne was blazing fire. Its wheels, there's the wheels, burned in fire. A river of fire was flowing, pouring out from in front of him. 1,000 thousands were serving him. Many tens of thousands were standing in front of him. The court sat down. The books were opened. I continued to watch, and then, because of the sound of the vaunted words spoken by the horn, I saw after this that the animal was killed and its body destroyed. It was consigned to the burning fire, and the dominion of the rest of the animals was taken away, but a prolonged life was given to them for a moment in time. I continued to watch in my night vision, and look, with the clouds of the sky, one like a son of man was coming. He was reaching out to the oldest of days, and was presented in front of him. Dominion, honor, and kingship were given to him. All people, nations, and tongues will serve him. His dominion is an eternal dominion that will not vanish. His kingdom is one that shall not be destroyed. This is a vision that mythologizes and telegraphs the imperial rule of the Babylonians, the Persians, and the Greeks. In the 6th through 2nd centuries BCE, a keen-eyed reader will detect in the descriptions of bizarre winged and fanged creatures and cosmic beings some recollection of the old Canaanite religions and the ancient world of Israel. Terrifying animals rising out of the frothing sea is unmistakably inspired by the creation epics. We remember Tiamat, the chaos goddess in the Enuma Elish, or Tehom in the Genesis 1 creation myth. The oldest of days, sitting in his divine council, reminds of the great god El holding court with the cloud rider. Could it be Baal or Yahweh taking his stand before him? Hail, Baal the conqueror. Hail, rider on the clouds, says the Baal cycle. You are gods, sons of Elyon, all of you, but like men you will die. You will fall like every other ruler, says the psalmist in Psalm 82. These sorts of visions are widely recognized as the product of persecution. In the aftermath of the Babylonian destruction of Jerusalem, the Jewish people were dispersed and occupied for centuries by powerful empires. Babylon was captured by Cyrus, king of Persia, in 539 BCE. Then the Greeks under Alexander the Great enjoyed victories at Granicus Issus, and Gaugamela before Darius II was killed and the Persians were finally defeated in 330 BCE at Parthia. Alexander's empire, only shortly thereafter, was fractured on his death into 4 small kingdoms, the most broadly influential of which parried for control of the critical trade corridor in the Levant. The Ptolemies in Egypt were pushed back to their own borders by the Seleucids in Syria at the end of the 3rd century BCE, and with the rule of the Antiochenes, Jerusalem progressively became increasingly more Hellenized. Jewish sources have dramatically propagandized this development into an aggressive, intrusive program of cultural and religious persecution. In actual fact, the adoption and influence of Greek culture happened gradually, as more and more people sought the benefits of learning the Greek language and participating in Greek education. The situation... Uh-oh. My earbuds just died
Oh, no.
in that moment.
Dang it.
Hold on.
A likely story.
Discord.
Hey, Petite Flower writes, I haven't lost any brain cells today.
Yeah, it's been nice.
Okay, I can finally
Oh.
hear you. I'm sorry. Are we...
Oh, hello. Good.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes, we
I
have
have one more paragraph before the
Okay.
end of the section. All right. This situation was exacerbated within the temple high priestly family. Jason, the brother of the high priest Onias III, approached the Seleucid emperor Antiochus IV Epiphanes with an offer to buy the high
Boo.
priesthood. Antiochus readily accepted, and Jason also secured permission and resources to build a gymnasium, a center for Greek education, athletic, and military training. The goal for
Naked.
Jason... Naked. They're all naked. The goal for Jason was to turn Jerusalem into a polis, a Greek city, that was governed by the local Greek-speaking citizenry. And because citizenship was exclusive and most often fell along the social dividing lines of language and education, a number of the populace who did not qualify became disenfranchised. Over the next several years, internal tension, ongoing petty disputes, and corruption in the priesthood, and Antiochus IV's military program of expansion in the south to Egypt resulted in fomenting a revolt among the Jews against their Syrian overlord in 167 BCE. This became framed in the guise of pious Jewish religious purists fighting to maintain their cultural identity in the face of the unholy, compromising pagan empire that oppressed them. As these things usually go, the situation is complex, and the conflict was not nearly so black and white as the ancient Jewish sources would suggest. We have seen how this works. This is what propaganda does. But it was just these sorts of feelings of religious persecution which fueled the apocalyptic imagination and produced the visions of a cosmic hope against the backdrop of existential dread like those in the book of Daniel. So it's a long chapter, and I didn't even get to the part about the zombies, which is probably unfortunate.
Maybe
So,
next time my computer breaks.
yes, let's do that the next
Yeah.
time your computer breaks.
Tree Clam Tad for $2 writes, Kip's earbud said, that's enough, bub.
Yeah, they did.
Sorry, a grizzly Wolverine voice. Victoria Macarios, who's been a member for 1 month, damn it, level rates. Now Kip looks like he's about to mix a metal track. Also hail the Goblin Queen, Dinosaur and Vishanti, and the Yellow Mug.
Thank you.
All right, let's do stuff that's coming up. Dapper, you're probably just hoping that your computer gets fixed within the next 2 days.
I mean, okay. Yeah, I'll go through what's going on. So first, computer is in the shop. They're not working today or tomorrow, so the earliest I'll get it back is Monday. That's optimistic, though. However, Monday, I do have a show on Debate Hub with Chris Shelton, the author and former Scientologist. We're going to be talking between us and Chesh. Obviously, it's her channel. The only reason. So we're going to be talking about Scientology speedruns, which are all the rage on TikTok and have expanded past the the Hollywood building where they're doing like their stuff, and has expanded out into like the Hubbard Museum, as well as a few Scientology properties elsewhere. I think even Big Blue got infiltrated at one point.
Oh, dang.
I know. The tragedy.
Yeah.
So we do have a little bit to say beyond like this is funny, which let's face it, it is.
It is.
But yeah, we're gonna talk about things like the legality, the effectiveness of this as like a form of protest, whether or not this will have a positive or negative effect on the members of the Church of Scientology, why it is that it seems like people find trespass on Scientology property to be an acceptable thing. Whereas my guess is that if you did like, I don't know, like if you did like Roman Catholic cathedral speedruns, I feel like a lot of people would.
We lost Kip.
I feel like a lot of people would react very differently. If you did like, I don't know, like St. Patrick in New York speedrun, I feel like it would be a very different reaction to that. We're gonna talk stuff like that. I'm gonna be honest with you, I cannot remember off the top of my head exactly when that's supposed to be. So check Debate Hub, go subscribe to Debate Hub, that stuff. Then Monday. Awesome, thank you, Chesh. Whom I'm assuming people can hear. I don't actually know. Can?
Cannot.
They cannot hear. Oh, they can't hear Chesh. Chesh has been denied you today, but not on Monday. So then on Tuesday, the plan is still Kent with Bent, assuming that either can get a producer. So heads up, Chesh, I might ask. Or assuming that my computer is fixed in time. Hopefully Bent will go forward. Then Thursday, I already had the premiere schedule, so I don't even have to worry about that. Is going to be an supercut with what's his name? The Australian guy.
Okay.
Not JT. He's the guy from Now. I don't know who it is. Hold on, I'll check.
Go subscribe. Hit the notification bell.
Don Batten, the guy. Don Batten.
Okay.
Then Friday, hopefully, we'll have the next session of D&D with Chesh as the GM. We're on Top Hats Off. And then, if I don't have a computer back by Saturday, I have no idea. Pretty sure I will.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah, so that's what's coming up. What do you got coming up?
Kip.
Excellent. My turn. All right. So I will be back tonight at 7 o'clock Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern with Dr. Tapioca Weasel and Nitty for another episode of Budget Scriptures Saturday. Everybody should check it out because it's a fun show. I will be on Misinterpretations channel on Tuesday evening. I believe that's at either 6 o'clock or 6:30 Pacific. And she and I are going to talk about the Tower of Babel, which is super cool.
Neat.
And by the way, I also have a video. It's a few years old. A video that I made all about the Tower of Babel, which I think is really cool. So it'll go in that direction. And then I think I believe things are going strange right now with my computer too, but I think Maya can correct me in the chat if this is wrong, but I think I'm going to be on her channel on Tuesday afternoon. Let me know if that's totally incorrect, Maya. But I think that's also happening. And then I'll be back with the usual stuff on Thursday evening, reading Hebrew as we do weekly at 5 o'clock. And then Vish and I are doing, oh yes, I will say this. Vish and I are streaming on Friday at 2 o'clock Pacific. And we're going to be doing, so there's been, and all of you guys have been involved in this. Well, less so you, Vish, but Chesh just recently, a couple weeks ago, hosted me and MC Toon to have a conversation about the biblical cosmology and how the Bible talks about the earth and what it looks like, right? And then MC Toon made me sigh deeply in my spirit because he had a guy on to then a modern Israeli native speaker on to talk about what the Bible really means and how all these things that seem like they're talking about a flat earth are actually talking about a sphere.
That person whose channel I believe might still be named Roundfinger has religious commitments that tend to make him want to fit things into that predetermined model. Like,
Wait, hold on.
actually, the creation narrative fits the Big Bang cosmology. Like, those don't have to go together.
Are you saying that he's doing the same thing that has been pointed out as a problem for the flat earthers using the Bible? Demonstrate that the earth is actually the shape that they think it is? Yeah. It's almost like maybe shouldn't be using the Bible to figure out the shape of the earth in the first place, and also just accepting the fact that it was written at a time when everyone thought the earth was flat, but not as modern flat earthers think.
Yeah. And it turns out that the Bible can be wrong about some stuff. It's
wrong about many things.
It has happened. It has.
It has happened.
So,
I think you will find this text is mistaken about a great many things.
There's a possibility that Toon may join us. That hasn't been confirmed yet, but yeah. So, but that's happening on Friday.
Awesome.
Cool.
Vish, you have anything?
I was going to say
I would say I may or may not do a Bible reading. If I do, it'll be very spur of the moment. So go subscribe to my channel, hit the notifications, because I'm not going to have the foresight to go, I'm doing it tomorrow or on this date. It's just going to happen. So, surprise.
All right. So the last thing I'll say is if Chesh has anything that she wants to mention that's coming up for her, she can feel free to be heard on the stream and say those things. And then I'll say my very last words. No? Okay. Chesh has nothing. Chesh never does anything. All right. Well, in that case, then I will simply say that ICE must be abolished because now it's apparently a federal felony. 8647.
Some of that clipped out, but also
sorry.
some people got federal charges for wearing black at a protest. So, yeah, we're in that stage of authoritarianism.
What?
In case you're wondering.
Why?
Yeah, because they all wore black, which means that like they planned their evil support of terrorists first. So yeah, we're at that stage of authoritarianism. In case you were wondering. Yeah. Anyway,
on the bright side, those cases are usually getting dismissed very promptly. You never know when that will change, but ICE must be abolished, and we're going to get out of here. Chesh,
okay.
Play us out.
Anyway.
So let's say you found the skeleton. How would you tell people that? You personally, how would you decide?
Well, interesting question. I don't know. I don't research on this.